Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob. My name is Caliban. Cards for sorrow, cards for pain.
And we're a couple of magical people ready to moon cosmic power make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 118, Maku no Tatakai, Sailor Senshi no Kake in Japanese. The battle inside the demonic space, the Sailor Guardian's gamble, the English translation, and the English title, It's in the Cards.
No love for my Rocky Horror reference?
I didn't get that it was a Rocky Horror reference. I'm sorry.
It's fine. That's when you throw the cards. That's like the last thing you do for the play along.
Okay.
The big Frankenfurter's big number at the end. He's going home.
I've seen it live twice. Oh. So I guess I am showing that I'm not as big of a Rocky Horror fan as I should be.
Live like the show.
Yeah.
Like the Rocky Horror show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, I mean, I guess you can do either. Although the theater that I was at, they did not. It said specifically, do not bring any props.
Oh.
Don't throw crap in our theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you go to an old, cinema, and they're playing a midnight movie, and obviously there's going to be, that's fine. But,
yes.
Yeah. I tried out for that show.
Did you?
I did not get into that show.
Oh, what part did you want to play?
Any?
Okay. I mean, as an actor, yes.
I was Brad. I was going to be Brad.
Okay.
I was never going to be anybody cool, but I came... ready to be, hey, look, I'm a dork. But I was a dork that couldn't dance at the level of everybody else.
Oh, that's okay, though.
So, yeah.
But Rocky Horror Picture Show, great show. Great. I like that going to see the movie live with the actors and everything, too. That's a lot of fun.
It is.
So, it can be a little intimidating.
It is.
Yeah.
In the theater production, the actors yell things.
Yeah, I know.
So they kind of make that up for you. But anyway, big. Well, am I a big? I don't know if I'm a big Rocky Horror fan, but I am a Rocky Horror fan.
I like Rocky Horror. I did not get your reference
someday.
So
now I'm changing my target.
Okay.
Now I can do Frankenfurter. I think I can do that.
Okay. Yeah, I think you could do it.
Yes.
I think you could pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean the tights, right?
Yes, of course.
Well, yeah.
Obviously.
Not worried about that. The singing and the dancing. I'm not worried about the tights.
Yeah.
I can handle that.
No,
for sure. I wanted to do a little business before we got started today, and I wanted to start that business by talking about another 5-star review that we've received on the platform iTunes. If you want to leave us a 5-star review, go to your platform of choice, be it iTunes or wherever you can leave a review and a rating, and do that, and we'll read it out on the show. Today's 5-star review comes from SA.Sailor6656.
Okay.
If that's your real name. Perhaps you are an android, in which case, cool name.
You're welcome.
It's a good thing that you like, maybe you're programmed to like Sailor Moon, seeing as your name has Sailor in it. It's 5 stars, and it's a short review. It says, probably the funniest podcast I've ever listened to. And to that, I would say, thanks for listening.
No, what were you going to say?
He should listen to more podcasts.
Okay.
Or her.
Yes.
But thank you very much. We appreciate your review.
Well, I take it as a compliment that they think we're the funniest podcast that they ever,
There's no accounting for taste. But thank you. And we enjoy doing this show, enjoy making people laugh. And if you want to leave us a 5-star review, go to your listening platform of choice. Do that. And then also, I always tell people, join our Discord.
Yes.
The link is in the show notes. Drop in, chat with us, and just mention, hey, I just left a little review for you guys.
Yeah,
and then we can go, oh, there you go. And then we can read it on the air.
That's right.
And it won't be, this is only in July, but it won't be months later where these guys are okay. They're not quite the funniest podcast. I have a feeling they'll get there someday.
They're getting there. They're working their way
up. Let us know. You send us the review, and then we'll get right on top of that. I also wanted to mention, of course, that you can always join our Patreon at patreon.com patreon.com/Sailor Noob, where we have entire other podcasts for you to listen to once you have access to that, outtakes from the show, and more. Usually that's kind of where we get, money to help the show keep going.
That's right.
We talked before, I think on our last Q&A about like what our future plans for it were. We're trying to firm those up a little more. And something that was kind of floated was that if we hit $100, we would do video content for the show.
Yes.
And I won't say that like that building is finished, but let's just say you can tell what the shape of it's going to be. We've been working on ideas and some of the directions and avenues that we want to go down as far as doing video goes. We're not at 100 yet. We're at 69. Nice. But we are very close. So if you or someone you know wants to join our Patreon and become an inner senshi and help us reach that goal, there is a lot more content coming behind that, in addition to what we already do.
That's right. I mean, I like that we have completely other podcasts on our Patreon for our inner senshi. Yeah. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's the old saying, right? Like start a podcast, start 3 more podcasts. You've heard that. We've all heard that.
Right, exactly.
And if Patreon's too rich for your blood, we've always got coffee. If you go to coffee, that's ko-fi.com /blah. It's a bunch of letters and numbers. I should write it down.
Oh my gosh.
But you can search for Just Enough Trope, the Just Enough Trope podcast, and find us there. I wanted to mention that listener Sarah gave us a very generous gift recently on coffee.
Thank you, Sarah.
A lot of coffee. And so so thanks, Sarah. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, we do.
And I don't know if we deserve it, but it all goes into the Hopper to make... Is Hopper a character on Stranger Things? Yeah, he's the big guy. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, the kitty then. I don't know. But I'm invoking Stranger Things. It all goes into the big Uncle Scrooge vault to make the show better and to keep things running here. For instance, Patreon money helped pay for our move and setting up the studio the way it's supposed to be, and the sound curtains that I have not closed on my side. So clearly I don't appreciate what people do. But
we do appreciate it, when we remember to...
Sound of me pulling curtain closed to make sound better.
There you go.
Yeah.
That works.
But thanks as always. Don't forget patreon.com /Sailor Noob and Ko-fi or coffee.
Well... Maybe we need some coffee and to get jazzed about today's episode.
I'm drinking iced coffee.
There you go.
Because it's hot.
It's very hot. But would you like to give us a breakdown of today's episode, Cal?
Yeah. We have a quite... It's in the cards. Let's just say that.
Yes.
Whatever that means.
I don't know.
For this episode. And we open on a pair of cards, actually. An ace and a joker. And the joker, which has a picture, is represented very ominously by an image of the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, what's up with that show?
Kids, fun, cards.
Yeah.
Holding the cards is Chibiusa, and choosing between them is Hotaru. She chooses the Joker, unknowingly, and Chibi chooses an unseen card from Hotaru's pair, and she gets a match. They're playing a match game. It's like Old Maid, right?
Yeah.
And Chibi just won, and Hotaru says, "It looks like the Joker really likes me, and the Ace of Hearts is running away from me. Because you're strange and unusual." Yeah, we get it. You're edgy. Chibi says, "Geez, you're great at concentration at the card game. Forget about it. Let's play concentration." We cut from there to the Witch's 5 lab, and we see a playing card go into the evil microwave with Dr. Giggles and Mehmet standing by. Dr. G says, "My game-playing demon is almost complete." And he laughs like the Count from Sesame Street.
I know.
Mehmet says, "It's almost tea time." And Dr. G says, "Ah, yes. It was my turn to bring the snacks. BRB." And he walks off. And Mehmet is like, "Bye, okay." But geez, the professor's naive. She runs off and gets a bunch of stuff and throws it in the microwave. And there's like a chessboard, a slot machine, what looks like a racing form, and a bunch of like gaming-related stuff. She closes up the microwave, and it starts rattling, and smoke comes out of it. Not pink bird smoke, but like dark, something's going wrong smoke. Mehmet is like, "This might have been a bad idea. I had nothing to do with it. I'm out of here." And we see the entire house shake from the outside. Cut back to Chibi and Hotaru up in her room, who are also feeling the house shake. And we see swirling colors start to glow all over the house. The shaking ends just as quickly as it started, and Hotaru and Chibi are left to wonder what exactly is going on. Everything in the room seems to shimmer, and Chibi runs to the window, looks out, and sees water.
Yeah.
In fact, just water. It seems like she's looking at the ocean, and I'm not sure if Chibi can tell, but we see her looking out of the window, and it's just the window, hanging in the middle of the air above this water.
It's very creepy.
Hotaru looks out of another window, and far below, she sees an elephant and the telltale jungle drums sound effect that denotes Africa.
Yeah.
So there are portals in the house that connect to other biomes. It's like that movie Doctor Strange. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Chibi says, looks like we're in a mess. And she runs over to Luna P, contacts the girls who are studying at Ray's. And Usagi's like, what? And Chibi says, Hotaru's house is in danger. Just then, Hotaru gasps and the call cuts off. They don't have coverage in the Doctor Strange house. Yeah. But the girls decide, we got to check this out. Back at Hotaru's house, Hotaru looks in her dresser drawer and sees fish swimming around inside. She thinks, they said drip dry. The funniest podcast ever. Chibi opens a roll-top desk and sees the Serengeti.
I know.
I think, no drums, so I'm not sure this is Africa. But a lion, which are only in Africa, pops its head into the frame.
It's like, what?
Is this a Tiffany? Nice. The lion climbs through the opening in the desk, and Chibi and Hotaru book it out of the room, slamming the door in Luna P's face. Or head. Body?
Body,
whatever
head,
Luna P's
face.
got.
Yes.
She does not make it out of this room. Hotaru and Chibi find themselves not in the hallway, but in the desert at night. And a crescent moon hangs above them among the stars. Behind them, the door disappears. Hotaru immediately gives up and sinks to the ground. But Chibi says, don't worry, help is on the way. I mean, Chibi was literally abducted by aliens in the Sailor Senshi game to save her.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I understand her faith. She did have to ultimately free herself from that situation herself by electrocuting herself. But details. Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside the Tomoe house, Professor Tomoe has returned with the groceries. But when he tries his key, the door won't open. And he kind of freaks out a little bit.
A little bit.
Like he was not expecting this.
Uh-huh.
And they do this cool thing. As he's walking up in the light, he's got white hair. You know, he's the upstairs Tomoe. But when the shadow of the porch falls across him, he's silhouetted saucer-eyed Dr. G.
I know.
It's like really nice attention to character design.
It's so great.
And we hear he has to be careful whenever he steps into the shade of a tree or something. Oh my God.
Do I look maniacal? I'm going to get in the sunlight.
When the lights go down in the movie theater.
Right.
Like, oh my God. We hear the voices of the Sailor Senshi, particularly Sailor Mercury, who says some kind of shockwave has connected this house to countless dimensions. It's like that movie Doctor Strange. The Sailor Senshi are here, and that's where maybe I'm going to temper my compliment earlier a little bit.
Okay.
Because like for 2 frames, as the professor realizes who they are and he starts to turn, his head goes from regular white hair to all shadow dark hair, but he's in broad daylight.
Oh,
So I don't know if like a seagull flew over him or something.
Yeah.
But first of all, this does not end our personal debate over whether his appearance actually changes when he's being evil.
True.
At least not explicitly.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember which side of that debate I'm on anymore. But we're not sure what's going on. But second of all, even though it muddies my current point and the compliment I gave, I'm willing to give it a thumbs up because I think maybe what they're doing is weirdly creating another Spider-Man moment. Let's just call this Spider-Moon. As much as I talk about Spider-Man. But for the villain this time. In the Spider-Man comics, you often see a special effect where Peter Parker is in his civilian guise, his sweater vest, and he's thinking about Spider-Man stuff, or his Spidey sense goes off. And you see like half his face is Peter and half Spider-Man.
Gotcha.
They actually recreated this in the in the Spider-Man movie. The first one where he's going to lift the thing off his back.
Yes.
Which is also a comic thing. And he sees his face in a puddle and his mask is torn off on one side. So he looks like that. You know, that's a Ditko thing from the comics.
Yeah. That's really cool.
It represents the dual life that he leads. That's kind of what we're getting here. Of course, this is the bad guy. Mm-hmm. So Kind of like, I think they've done that for Norman Osborn once or twice in the comics too.
Okay.
You know how much I sacrificed?
So we're seeing that,
Yes.
something that the sailors don't see. I'm guessing.
I'm
they're
guessing.
They're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Well, Tomoe turns around and he says, "You're here," but he thinks, "Did they figure out my secret?" Mm-hmm. And Mars says, "No need to worry, Hotaru's father. We don't know your name, I guess." And Sailor Moon says, "We're not here to cause trouble. You need us when you're in trouble. We're the Sailor Guardians. If you don't know us, we'll punish you." I know. And Ray's like, "What are you doing? You came to his house." And they start to have a fight, as usual. But the professor's like, "I don't think I need to worry about my secret identity."
Right.
Sailor Mercury says, "In 1 hour, the house will be sucked into another dimension and destroyed. Like that Doctor Strange movie. We have to hurry." In the house, or are they in the house? In a jungle, Chibi and Hotaru are walking, and Chibi says, "It's so hot." Same. In a flash, the jungle becomes an icy frozen lake with a howling wind. Chibi says, "It's so cold." As the pair shiver, we see a penguin appear out of thin air, and just as quickly disappear again.
It's a great comic moment.
He will never return.
No.
He just came in from Chilly Willy or something, and he's like, "Oh, wrong cartoon. Whoop, gone." Back on the Tomoe front lawn, Sailor Moon says, "Okay, I'm counting on you, Jupiter." And it's like, oh, I know this one. I love this. I love it when the show, which is 200 episodes, which are only vaguely connected to each other, it has a continuity.
Yes.
Because you immediately know, oh, it's because traditionally Jupiter blows open doors and walls.
Yes.
Right? That's what she does.
Yes.
That's a nice bit of continuity. And Mercury's like, wait, what are we doing? And Sailor Moon's like, she's going to use the wide pressure. See? If that doesn't work, Mars can use burning mandala to burn it down. The professor's like, you don't have to do anything. That's okay.
I don't know if I need your help.
And Mars is like, of course. It's just that one of us isn't up to speed here. And she starts fighting with Usagi again. And Mercury remarks that if they break the door down, that will also send the house to another dimension.
Great.
Like the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, right.
So the cats are like, guys, we trained you better than this. What's going on here? But they do have a plan. They're going to Sailor teleport in and unlock the door from the other side. Great when you lose your keys. Yeah. They hold hands and Sailor teleport and arrive in a flowery meadow surrounded by mountains. Mm-hmm. Mercury confirms that they are technically inside the house. Mm-hmm. And that is the best kind of way to be inside the house. Outside of the house, Tomoe thinks, it's ironic that I'm relying on the Sailor Guardians for help, but I can't lose Hotaru now. Now? You are planning to lose her later?
Yeah, what do you mean now?
Then post-filicide, he thinks, I think I'll have some tea while I wait.
I know.
And the cats who are in their secret identity as cats can't ask for any food. So they have to just watch him eat this food.
How are they communicating with each other?
Maybe they have like a cat...
Telepathy?
Yeah, like a cat can't.
Cat can't?
You know, like can't, like thieves can't. It's like secret thief, but this is a cat.
Okay.
Cat can't.
Okay, a cat can't.
Don't be a cat can't. Be a cat can. Do the cat can. At the base of a giant waterfall, the Senshi are floating in a river, and Moon is getting pissed. Mm-hmm. Mercury says, all sorts of dimensions are twisted together here, but we're still inside Hotaru's house. As she says this, the water disappears, and the Senshi are in a meadow again. Outside the house, Tomoe is chowing down on snacks as the cats watch. On the sidewalk, we see Setsuna meeting with Haruka and Michiru. She tells them what's up. Setsuna says, there's a chance the Guardians might not come back. And Haruka says, good, she's dangerous. Meaning, I think, meaning that it would be best if Hotaru just disappeared.
Yes.
Cut to Chibi, and it's a half past nap time. She's getting tired. Mm-hmm. She thinks, I'll just walk around a little bit. And Hotaru says, maybe we shouldn't move around too much. And she's right. In a flash, the solid ground Chibi was on becomes the space over a crevasse. Mm-hmm. Is it a crevasse or is it an abyss?
It's a crevasse.
Yeah.
It could also be an abyss.
It sounds better than crack.
Both. Yes,
yeah.
It does.
And Chibi does a Wile E. Coyote right down into it. Mm-hmm. Hotaru grabs her hand and struggles to pull her up.
Careful, my bone.
Chibi says, just let me go. Wow. Chibi's been listening to some of Hotaru's music.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.
We see the sailors slogging their way through a desert, and Mercury says they'll be in the next dimension that we travel to. She's using the RoboCop computer to track dimensions here. Right on cue, the scene changes to the cliff face, and Usagi just barely avoids falling in. Across the gap, they see Chibi clinging to Hotaru for dear life. Hotaru, though, is out of strength, and the two slide forward and plummet into the abyss. But a Venus Love Me chain shoots out and grabs Hotaru by the leg, stopping their fall. You can lasso a volcano, you can lasso a tween goth. The sailors pull them up, and as Hotaru regains consciousness, Mercury says, we can't teleport them with Sailor Teleport. Why not? They teleported Chibi that one time.
I think they can't teleport both of them.
No. Does it only take sailors?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Although Chibi wasn't a sailor when they teleported her from the alien vessel.
I think it's like up all sailors plus one.
You get one. You get your plus one.
You get your free
Sailor Teleport plus one.
Yeah.
Well, Hotaru says, if you can take Chibi, just do it and leave me here. I shouldn't have been born anyway.
This is my last resort.
Oh my God.
Sailor Moon says, no, we're going to find a way to save both of you. And the sailors all agree that Mercury will find them a way home. Mercury's like,
come on,
clickety, clack, 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 clack.
Yeah.
Back on the porch, Tomoe still making his way through those snacks. And the cats say that there's only 30 minutes left before the house disappears. Back in the house, Mercury says, this is it. The house is up next.
House.
And the group appears back in the house at the top of the stairs. Mm-hmm. Some of them literally at the top, as Moon, Chibi, Venus, and Jupiter all go crashing down the stairs. The group makes their way to the front door, and Usagi pushes it open to reveal a dark void. The sailors step in, and the door slams shut behind them. A voice says,
welcome to the game room, Sailor Scouts.
You may think it was game room, but it was gay room. Sorry, no questions. They look and see a woman seated at a table covered in red velvet, a stack of playing cards before her. She looks just like a queen from a playing card, blank expression and all. It was just look like, I'm on a card. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I got a knife in my head. Yeah. Well, she has a blank expression until she tears her robes off. Now we're getting somewhere. And she reveals that her body is made out of different game pieces. She says, I'm the strange demon that lives in this strange room. Like that movie Doctor Strange. I'm Uika-sama.
It's strange. Maybe. Who am I to judge?
There's also a cool painting of a cormorant swallowing a fish behind her, which is really neat.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
It's like a splash. It's like boom, ding, ding, ding.
Wow. Okay.
Mercury says, the energy is coming from her. We have to defeat her to leave. Thanks for the stakes. Do you have the script on that computer?
Yeah, I think so.
But Ika says, whoa, 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 I am a villain who loves peace. I love gambling. You beat me in a game, I'll send you home. And she sits down and starts shuffling her cards. Sailor Mars spends 0 time thinking about this and starts burning mandala. But Ika says, or I could send you somewhere worse. Cancel that burning mandala.
I know.
Venus says, okay, fine. But if we win, you send us home. And Ika says, okay, you pick the game. But if I win, you're here for all eternity. Let's do this. And the room is suddenly washed with lurid light, revealing a casino-like environment. Jupiter says, I'll go first. And we cut to a roulette wheel where Jupiter picks red 16. The wheel spins, 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 and the ball lands on red 16, which then flips over to a red 7.
Yeah.
Instantly, Jupiter is encased in a giant glass playing card and suspended from the ceiling. Next up, Jenga with Sailor Mars. Mars carefully places her block atop the pile, but Ika has put one of her green hairs in the stack and she pulls it just as Ray makes her move, sending the pile tumbling. Good move.
Yeah.
I wish I had long hair. I would cheat in Jenga that way. Who ever thought about that?
Apparently this daemon did.
Did you really? Maybe like fishing line or something? I shouldn't think about this too much. Anyway, glass card. Next up, Mercury at a game of chess. Ami moves her piece into place, and it's checkmate for Ika. But the square her piece is on begins to flash, and the piece explodes.
I know.
And she's glass carded off screen, I guess. Yeah. It happens. Trust us. Next up, Moon and Venus. These guys do it to themselves.
They do.
You guys want to be thought of as separate people. You can't do stuff like this. But anyway, breakout God driving. Now this is God driving.
Yes.
Usagi and Minako are ready to win that race. They hit the accelerator, but both of their cars peel out backwards, crash into each other, and explode.
I know.
glass cards.
I know.
They're trying to do a Ready Player One thing. That's not how this works.
No.
There's nothing when you go backwards. You just fail. Only Hotaru and Chibi are left. Chibi says, I choose Old Maid. And Ika says, okay. Back on the porch, the cats tell us there's just 10 minutes left. At this point, we don't need the clock. Like all the sailors are being turned into glass cards.
I know.
But we're committed to it. In the casino void, the game of Old Maid is on. Ika reaches out for a card, and Chibi seems to get excited. Ika thinks, she's just a kid. No poker face, no poker face. She draws the card, and it's the Joker of Death. And Chibi's like, yeah, suck it.
I know.
Ika has clearly never played cards with a 6-year-old before. She's just learning. Although, for a Yoma, who has no facial expression,
Yes.
she's completely tricked by a child's facial expression.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yes. Child reverse psychology. I'm a child reverse psychologist. They work on me. Now Hotaru reaches out for Ika's card. We see her hand. She's got a 6 and the Joker. As Hotaru's fingers get close to the 6, Ika says, oh yeah. Oh, I want you to take that one. It's a little heavily laid on reverse psychology, but Hotaru has no psychology, so she just takes it like, you do? Okay, great. Ika's like, what is up with this kid?
I know.
Chibi just hands her last card to Ika and throws her arms up in triumph. But Ika says, it's not over yet. I'll only let you through if Weirdo here wins. Yeah. Chibi says, you can do it. Watch her face. Remember what we talked about. This is happy. This is sad. Only the Joker and the Ace are left, and Ika deals her cards face down on the table, leaving it totally to chance. Or will she? Hotaru thinks this will decide everyone's fate, and Ika thinks, I marked the Joker earlier. This is, you should put a mark on the card. Mm-hmm. Now all I have to do is to put pressure on this little dullard. Hotaru reaches out for the Ace of Hearts, but Ika tries a little reverse psychology, saying, oh, yeah, do you really want to pick that one? Hotaru moves her hand to the Joker, and Ika says, yeah, that's probably the one. Hotaru is frozen with indecision. She's just never played a game with a kindergartner, I guess. But Sailor Moon says from her card, pick either card. Pick the one you want. And all the soldiers say, you can do it. We love you. And Chibi 2 says, it's like a game of concentration. Mm-hmm. Your favorite game. Like in that movie, Doctor Strange.
Right.
Hotaru smiles and chooses the first card, the Ace of Hearts. Everyone cheers. And Hotaru collapses face down on the table.
I know.
Ami says, she's okay. She just passed out. That's not okay.
No.
She's like unconscious. Ika is pissed. And she says, I'm keeping you here anyway. But Chibi, taking advantage of her friend's unconsciousness, says, Moon Prism Power Makeup, and transforms into Sailor Chibi Moon and lets off a pink sugar heart attack. But nothing happens. She's like, weird. I put extra energy into this to know. Oh! Hearts blast out of the rod, hitting Sailor Moon's card and freeing her. Mm-hmm. Sailor Moon says, that's dangerous. Chibi says, but you're free. And Usagi says, oh yeah. Crisis Makeup and Rainbow Moon Heartache. Ika says, no, I'm against violence. But she is no more. The girls' cards disappear, and they all reappear in the foyer of the Tomoe house. Chibi runs to Hotaru, but Sailor Moon reminds her, secret identity. You're still in Chibi Moon form. So Chibi just says, thank you. Outside, Professor Tomoe is snoozing, but he wakes up when the Sailor Senshi and Chibiusa emerge from the house. He thanks the Senshi, but to himself thinks, you'll regret saving her. What was that?
I know.
Was it like Josie and the Pussycats where they do that bit?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I won't kill you. What?
I'm sorry. What did you say something?
I didn't say anything.
And neither will you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's a good bit.
It is.
On the sidewalk, Setsuna says, well, Haruka, you didn't get your wish. And Michiru says, Setsuna has more faith in Sailor Moon than both of us. And Haruka's like, yeah, whatever. Back in the house, Sailor Moon says, you and Hotaru did it, Chibi. And Chibi, holding Luna P, who's just fine, thank God. Mm-hmm. No lion claw marks on her.
I know.
Chibi thinks, we're an unstoppable team. What was that? What did you say?
I know.
Nothing. I didn't say anything.
That was close.
Excuse me?
And then there's just like a flower motif of the two of them.
I know.
Just cause.
Which, why not have her wake up?
Great question.
They don't show her wake up. So clear they are just standing on top of an unconscious girl, and they're like, "We're a team." So it'd be funny if, like, in the flower mural, it's like Chibi, and then like
a
like
out
lolling
Hotaru.
unconscious Hotaru just being held up by strings. Yeah.
Good point.
I'm glad we finally reached the Welcome to the Gay Room Sailor Scouts episode. Before I ever really got into the show, or I think we were doing the podcast, I was watching like an anime video about LGBTQ representation in anime, which we just talked about.
Yes.
Not in anime, but and they had a clip that which must have been from the dub, and I don't know if they like monkeyed with it or the sound, or if it just sounds this way in the English dub, but it just sounds like she's saying, "Welcome to the Gay Room, Sailor Scouts." He's talking about how gay Sailor Moon is.
I think it fits. I think it's hilarious. Like, you showed it to me, and I was like, I don't remember this.
Wait a minute. Is this
I mean,
I'm pretty sure that didn't happen.
But I don't know,
Yeah.
So who am I to say? I mean, it is pretty gay, so, but
It's a weird episode.
it's a very weird episode.
This is kind of like, I mean, it reminds me of Bill and Ted, Bogus Journey.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, the demon is kind of like Death, where they have to like play him in Twister or
that's true.
or Battleship or whatever, and he keeps losing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have sunk my better ship.
Which came like that was 1991 that came out of it.
Yeah, that would have been before this.
So okay,
Yeah.
Sailor Moon.
Okay,
Let's see
Sailor
what's going
Moon.
on.
All right. Somebody saw Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
I think so. They're like, let's do a fun one. And just do something crazy.
There's I mentioned Doctor Strange before. The house is kind of like Doctor Strange, but I was thinking about Doctor Strange, the most recent Doctor Strange movie. With no spoilers. Slight spoiler: she's a mother.
I don't know if you know this.
And the spoiler's in the title, actually, because it's Multiverse of Madness.
It is.
MOM.
Oh.
Doctor Strange
I just
and the
got
mom.
that. I just got that now.
But
with you saying that.
I was thinking about alternate dimensions and like how it's fun to do that with characters. And like, I guess I don't know what's in the future, but like, they should do that with Sailor Moon. What do you think about like an alternate universe or alternate dimension Senshi?
I would love to see that. Because I think it's always
This
fun
Ray
when you do that.
Loves boys. She's crazy about every boy.
This Ray is nice to Usagi.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Yeah. This on me doesn't study. She's got a leather jacket. She's
It's like, whatever.
whatever, man.
See, I
I
kind of like
bombed that
this.
test and it felt good.
Yeah. This Mako is bad at everything.
Yeah. This Mako got stung by a bee and all hell broke out.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Are you talking about America from Doctor Strange?
Yes.
I don't think she even gets stung by a bee, does she? She's just scared by it.
I don't even know.
I
didn't love that movie.
Yeah.
Spoiler for
I
my
didn't
review for that
either.
movie. I didn't think that was that great.
No.
And if you know this, we talk about comics on the show. If you know the character Miss America from the comics, she's awesome. In fact, she is the Jupiter, I think, in a lot of ways.
That's cool.
But yeah, didn't see that on screen in
I'd love to read
Doctor
some-
Strange and the Mom.
Yeah.
Dr. Mom.
Dr. Mom. There you go. I'd love to read some America comics.
Read Young Avengers.
Okay.
Speaking of being gay.
Yeah. All right.
Super
Let's
gay.
bring
Super
it
gay
on.
book.
Is what I say to that.
Yeah. Also, like, the whole idea, we've seen, like, pocket dimensions in Sailor Moon before.
Yes.
There's the bus dimension.
Yes.
Or I guess the clock dimension.
Yeah. Was
Amongst others. Actually, I'm thinking about live action. They do that all the time in live action. They go to the statue dimension, and
the statue dimension was really creepy.
the forest dimension, and
They sent her to the forest dimension like a lot.
yeah.
But the mall dimension where there's just, I don't think it's actually a dimension. It's just like
The mall dimension?
The Dark Kingdom sometimes has like this, like it's like in an abandoned mall or something like that. But then there's like there's like statues and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it remains to be seen if the Dark Kingdom is actually underground or is like its own dimension, but
Yeah.
it seems to have all these entryways, like the
forest,
the water cave, the
Yes.
forest, the abandoned mall
Yes.
entryway. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if they had an entryway through arcade, the Fruit Crown arcade? I mean, it wouldn't be great for the Senshi, but I think that would be
across the hall
weird.
from their
Yes.
karaoke room 9 3/4.
Yes.
There's like 10 3/4.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute,
Right.
Has this door been here the whole time?
Right. I think that'd be kind of funny. And
inside they're
Matoki's
singing
like,
Papa
"Who-"
Roach.
Matoki's like, who are these guys? He's getting all jealous. He's like, with their long hair and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have the sailors date the Shitino. That's what we want.
I
know. We all know.
Okay. All right. I don't hate it. I don't love
do.
it, but I don't hate it. And I've read some good
It would be great
fanfic comics around
if we could
it.
wave a wand and Queen Beryl could be a nice Earth Queen or whatever. And all the 4 kings could be nice guys again, but they're not, and we don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't have to redeem every bad. What is this, Dragon Ball? Like there can be just some bad guys that are bad, right?
Yeah, you don't have to redeem everybody. I mean, I agree with you on
You're gonna
that
redeem
much.
Death Phantom. Death Phantom.
It's gonna be pretty hard to redeem that guy.
He's got a tie and a pocket protector, and he's like, no, I'm just I don't really Phantom Death anymore. I'm really into numbers.
playing with the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, I got my CPA, and
Yeah.
right. Rubik's Cube. What?
I don't know. It's just something I thought of, and a calculator.
Yeah.
To do both.
Yeah, we don't want to redeem everybody.
No, I think that's fine that we don't actually.
Esmeralda died as she lived.
Oh,
A giant dragon.
I am still kind of pissed that he tricked her and then she turned into a giant dragon and then she died. That
Yeah, but
makes
it's like
me
the most
mad.
metal way to die. It was a baller death.
Yeah, she had a baller death. I will give her that. And I do love Esmeralda. I have way more love for her than I think I did when I initially watched it as a kid. So,
well, speaking of villains, our villain in this episode, not very good at games. Why does she love games? she sucks at them.
here's what I think.
Or look, I know that our sailors are, just very superlative at everything.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect Ami to beat her in chess,
Of course, I would too.
but it doesn't. She's not very good at the games that she plays. It's like Death from Bill and Ted.
She's not, and she cheats. That's how she wins.
They Melvined me.
I think it's because so many games were shoved into the daemon oven, and so then she's all jumbled up. Like she's made of the pieces. She's not very good at because there's so much in there.
She is a queen of all trades.
Yes.
Master of none.
Yes. Thank you.
Kill it. Shut it all down.
Your Honor, a courtroom is a crucible. In it we burn away irrelevancies until we are left with a pure product, the truth, for all time.
Oh man, this is so intense. Data's on trial for his life.
I know. This episode, The Measure of a Man, is based on the Supreme Court's Dred Scott decision of 1857.
And every week on Backtracking, we take a look at the real-world events that inspired classic Star Trek episodes. Sorry.
Who are you?
We're the hosts of Backtracking. I'm
You
Caliban.
will both be taken to the brig and from there to the nearest starbase, where you will answer charges for what you have done.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
This is not a game. This is life and death.
You can follow us on Twitter.
Backtracking is available wherever you listen to podcasts.
You go f*** yourself.
Today for Kyoro Kyoro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to be talking about Japanese card games.
Cards for sorrow, cards for pain.
That's right. In order to start talking about card games in Japan, we need to talk about hanafuda. Hanafuda are or flower cards.
Flower food?
No. They're a style of Japanese playing cards, and they are typically smaller than Western playing cards. They're only about 12 1/8 by 1 1/4 inches, but they're thicker and stiffer. And on the face of each card is a depiction of plants, tanazuki or strips of paper with something written on it, animals, birds, or man-made objects. It's a lot of fauna, though. It's a lot of plants and flowers, hence hanafuda.
What kind of man-made objects?
I mean,
flower-related objects?
Well, like probably
Yeah,
like
it's an
flower,
airplane.
like related, like that's a vase and there's flowers in it
Oh.
or something like,
Okay.
you know. I don't know.
It's a hoe.
Yeah. One single card depicts a human usually. The backside is usually plain without a pattern or design of any kind. Hanafuda are used to play a variety of games like koi koi and hachi hachi. More on that later.
Are all Japanese card games two of the same word?
I don't think all of them are, but let's face it, they like doing that kind of stuff. So probably a good deal of them are plays on words or repeating words. Yeah, right, exactly. Playing cards were introduced to Japan by the Portuguese in the mid-16th century. The Portuguese deck consisted of 48 cards with 4 suits, swords, cups, coins, and clubs divided into 12 ranks. And I should mention, too, that before the Portuguese introduced playing cards, they still had things that were like cards, but they painted the insides of shells and had games with that, and also used thinner pieces of paper. So they had like similar kind of like games and that sort of thing. So it wasn't like brand new inventing the wheel, but it was just like, oh, well, this makes sense.
Like, cards and like tarot cards have been around since in Europe for a while.
Yes.
Not like this is real stuff. Sorry, tarot's fun, but like, real cards.
Real playing cards.
Yeah, they were like playing cards.
Yeah.
There's like, Tarorici or something like that. There's like a, Italian game, a French game.
Mm-hmm. I can't even, so just researching this, there's so many different traditional like Japanese games. And like, it boggles my mind just how many different card games there have been and iterations there have been throughout the world. It's crazy.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Yes. And Pokemon. Yes.
And for some reason they had to invent Pokemon. There's already thousands of games.
That's right. The first Japanese-made decks were made during the Tensho period, which was 1573 to 1592, and they mimicked the Portuguese decks and are referred to as Tensho Karuta. And Karuta is derived from the Portuguese word for card. Oh. So after Japan closed off all contact with the Western world in 1633, foreign playing cards were banned. It should be no surprise. Anything foreign.
Where do I get my cards from?
Yeah. So in 1648, Tensho Karuta were banned by the Tokugawa shogunate. So I think maybe because these were the Japanese decks that were derived from the Portuguese, or they got to live a little bit longer. But during Prohibition, gambling with cards remained highly popular, which led to disguised card designs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Scorsese, you screwed up, man. Oh, sure, silence is fine.
Yeah.
But what about the silence about cards and gamblers?
Oh, big time.
It's like The Sting.
Yes.
But in 17th century feudal Japan.
Yes.
And they got like cards.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
this is $1 million idea.
And the guy's like, giving them the sign on the nose.
That's right. Each time gambling with a card deck of a particular design became too popular, the government banned it, which then prompted the creation of a new design. So this...
Wait a minute. Aren't they just banning like the idea of cards though? Like putting a different picture. It's not a copyright thing.
Well, but I think they
these
took
cards
it literally.
Have doggies on them.
Right.
You're free to go.
We found a loophole, so we're going to continue working within that loophole.
Can I just say, that's so Japanese.
I love it.
That really is so
Japanese. So this cat and mouse game between the government and rebellious gamblers, not gamblers.
God, this is the movie right here.
I know.
Wait, how come there are never any like Japanese heist con man movies? Or maybe there are. I don't know.
Maybe because the Yakuza are kind of not regarded really well in Japan.
Right. Get over it, Japan. Get over it.
Yeah, I know.
You got the guy, and he's like, that's Ryunosuke, and he's like, hey, what's up, ladies? And he's coming in. You already see like they've got the you see in like anime from the feudal time period, there's like casinos and they're doing the boom, like the dice game.
Yes.
And they're having Beatles fight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the guy comes in, he's like, give me a sake. Lukewarm, Whoa. He's like, he's like, glad he's passing things to people in the sleeves and they're doing the
this is
cards.
great.
And yeah, all right.
I'm very amused.
Right. Well, anyway.
So, yeah.
That'll never happen.
Well, I don't know. I think it would be cool if it did. So it resulted in the creation of increasingly abstract, minimalist regional patterns. These designs were initially called yomi karuta after the popular, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, Poch, P-O-C-H. That's like an old card game, like game of Yomi, which was known by the 1860s. And Poch is a very old card game that is considered to be one of the forerunners of poker, apparently.
Okay.
Through the Meiwa, Ane, and Tenmei eras, roughly 1764 to 1789, a game called Mikuri took the place of Yomi. And it became so popular that Yomi Karuta was renamed Mikuri Karuta. And so mechanically, Mikuri is similar to like Chinese fishing games, I guess.
Fishing,
like I feel like going fish.
Go fish.
Yeah, but
Okay.
like a Chinese version.
Koi Koi sounds like a fishing game.
It does. It's not.
Oh.
But it's a matching game. So I guess it is kind of like a fishing game.
What?
I guess it is.
If it's a match.
Yeah.
All right,
I guess it is.
We named the non-fishing game after fish. If you want war, everybody hugs each other.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, just the opposite.
And poker, you don't poker.
Cards became so commonly used in gambling that they were banned in 1791 during the Kansai era. In the Meiji period, playing cards became tolerated by the authorities. Koi Koi is a popular card game in Japan played with hanafuda, and the phrase Koi Koi roughly means come on in Japanese, which is said when the player wants to continue the round.
Oh. Wait, how do you... How do you know when you're going to stop, though?
Well, I'll get to it. So the object of the game is to form special card combinations or sets called yaku from cards accumulated in a point pile. Players can gain cards in their point piles by matching cards in their hands or drawn from the draw pile with cards on the table. Once a yaku or set has been made, a player can stop to cash in points or keep going, referred to as koi koi, hence the name of the game.
Yeah, but like,
to
guys,
form additional yaku for more
it's
points.
so late. My wife is going to kill me. Thanks for playing Koi Koi with me. And they're like, so there's more? No. I absolutely cannot play anymore Koi Koi.
You just tricked somebody into keep playing.
More?
Yeah, right. So
they eventually have to like stop just saying the name of the game.
Yeah,
so
right.
You guys want to play that game tonight?
The game that starts with...
I don't think I can. I'd love to play Koi Koi. All right, get them out. Let's do this thing.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
In 1889, Fusajiro Yamauchi founded Nintendo for the purposes of producing and selling handcrafted hanafuda. Nintendo has focused on video games since the 1970s, but continues to produce cards in Japan, including theme sets based on Mario, Pokemon, and Kirby.
Yeah, I was going to say, they kind of came full circle. It only took about 100 years.
Yeah, right, exactly. No, it's very, very true.
We used to be a card company, and then we changed the world with video games.
Yes.
More cards?
More
cards? Yeah. And then,
play cards.
Guys, you ready for this? Video games based on card games?
I know, right? It just blows your mind.
Next up, card games based on video. Well, I think they have that, don't they?
Card games based on
Card
video
games based on video games based on card games.
I am just so twisted up my own head right now.
There is a video game.
Yeah.
Out right now. This is not Nintendo, but it's out right now called Card Shark.
Okay.
And in the game, you play like 18th century, like, Barry Lyndon era.
Sure.
Swindler of cards.
Okay.
And so the idea is that you go in and you're going to win all this money, but you're going to cheat. You want to cheat at these card games. And so there's like little mini games and quick time events that help you like cheat at the games. Mm-hmm. Now, what's weird to me is like, you'd think, oh, so it is a game of whist or piquet or whatever they would play back then. No, there isn't actually any card games in the game.
What?
It's just the mini games that get you through the card game, win or lose, and then you kind of advance the story. And it's like, okay, you guys missed
That's weird.
You missed a trick there. But that is literally a video game based on a card game. I guess it's not actually based on a video game, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think
But
you
now
can make yourself.
But there are games now,
around.
like, there's Pokemon, obviously, but there's like video games that are like card games, basically. Like you'd play, like you can play Magic, the video game.
Sure.
And I don't know how like you enforce the rarity of the cards, because usually in real life, if you ever play CCGs, rich people win because they can afford all the cards.
I mean, that makes sense.
But yes, I mean, they kind of have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you made a game, here it is. If you made a Nintendo game that was about collecting cards, Pokemon cards, which are based on a video game, which are based on a card game, there you go.
Has this not already happened?
It's probably an indie game. It's probably an indie game like that.
All right.
Like, check out the Shmokimon cards, and you have to get all the Shmokimon cards.
Yeah, right.
But the game's really about depression. All indie games are about depression.
That's really sad. That's so sad.
Depression, yeah, I know.
Yeah, depression is really sad. So in the hanafuda, there are 48 cards in total, and they're divided into 12 suits, one for each month of the year. And each suit is designated by a flower and has 4 cards.
Wait, what? There's 4 cards in a suit?
Yeah.
That's a small suit.
Yeah, it's pretty small. But there's 12 of them, so I don't know.
It's small, but there's a lot
they
of
make
them.
up for it in number. Yeah. So the name Nintendo is commonly assumed to mean, quote, leave luck to heaven, but the assumption lacks historical validation. It can alternatively be translated as, quote, the temple of the free hanafuda. So
I think it translates to no new F-Zero game for you.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought there was going to be more of a story there.
One Metroid release every 20 years.
Okay.
That's what Nintendo means.
All right. That's fair. Hanafuda cards had become popular after Japan banned most forms of gambling in 1882, but it tolerated Hanafuda. Sales of Hanafuda cards were popular with the Yakuza ran gambling parlors in Kyoto.
It's the crime, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's like, all right, say what you will about the Japanese, but like they know how to have fun.
Yes.
But like
I think they do.
But they swing wildly on this like gambling and this recreation thing. And for some reason, a long time ago, and pachinko. Are the Yakuza into that too?
Probably.
Oh boy.
I would be surprised if they weren't.
Because it's not, because it seems like every region has like a morals thing, but they seem to be okay with the prostitution thing. Like a while ago, they figured that out. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to think it's a human rights thing, but it's probably just, we can tax that. But like, why don't they realize, we can tax the gambling too?
Maybe they've figured it out. I didn't really do a lot of research on like modern, like attitudes towards gambling. I know that. I was
gonna say, which demon's gonna be a prostitute? Then we can talk about.
Please, no. Let's not. This is a kid's show. I mean, sometimes they dress very scandalously, but let's not.
Working girl.
Yeah, let's not.
All right.
So other card manufacturers had opted to leave the market, not wanting to be associated with criminal ties. But Yamauchi persisted without such fears to become the primary producer of hanafuda within a few years. According to data from Nintendo, the company's first Western-style card deck was put on the market in 1902, although other documents postponed the date to 1907, shortly after the Russo-Japanese War. And the war created considerable difficulties in the leisure sector, which were subject to new levies such as the karuta or playing card tax.
There you go.
Yeah. I did.
That's the real Westernization.
I did want to mention too that I saw in this video that some of the Yakuza have a reputation for having a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
A lot of their tattoos are based on, not all of them obviously, but a lot of them are based on hanafuda designs.
Oh.
So they have really strong ties to the hanafuda.
Okay.
So
that lead buried.
Yeah, but I mean, it is like, so some people want to like distance themselves from it, but like it is something that you can play with your kids and your family, and it's perfectly legit to do that. So it's not like it's just completely shady, like gambling or anything like that.
Right, okay, Jimmy, you lost the trick. Now cut off your pinky. Come on.
Oh my God, no.
Deal's a deal.
Baby's first pinky cut off. Here we go.
Oh, God.
Speaking of Nintendo, in the 1960s, the company acquired licenses to a number of games from American company Milton Bradley, and one of the games was Twister.
Oh!
Yes.
All right, now was Twister marketed to adults or children in Japan?
I think it was largely marketed to adults, but it...
Oh, really?
But it was also,
politely
marketed to
put
families.
Your left foot on blue.
It was also marketed to as an exercising game, which I think is really strange.
Play it by yourself?
Yeah, but you would have to see, the thing is, I thought about it, and you're all jumbled up on there. You have all your limbs. You would have to play with somebody else to spin the wheel. Unless you're spinning the wheel
your
with
spotter.
Help
me exercise.
Unless you're doing that with you're so nimble and flexible, you're doing it with your nose somehow or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. So anyways, I think that's interesting. Another traditional playing card game is called uta-garuta.
That's my favorite Star Wars character.
They love doing this sort of thing.
Uta-garuta solo?
Yeah. Which literally translates to poetry karuta. And it is a card game in which 100 waka poems are written on 2 sets of 100 cards. One set is yomi-fuda, literally reading cards, which have a complete poem taken from the Ogura Hyakuin Isshu. And the other is torifuda, literally grabbing cards, which each correspond to a yomi-fuda and have only the last few lines of the corresponding poem on them, and typically an image as well.
This sounds like refrigerator poetry. Or like Cards Against Humanity.
But it can be very competitive. So I'll get to that in a minute. But these are poems that are really well known, and everybody knows them. If you grow up in Japan anyways. And so how it works is one person is chosen to be the reader. And as the reader reads the yomi-fuda, the players race to find its associated torifuda, so the associated card that usually has an image on it and has only part of the poem before anybody else does. And this game has traditionally been played on New Year's Day since 1904. And competitive karuta has competitions on various levels, with the Japan National Championship tournament being held every January at Omi Shrine in Otsushiga since 1955. And let me tell you, this gets really competitive. And this competitive karuta has had a boom in popularity since the mid-2000s due to a popular manga turned anime series that focuses on the game. Chihaya Furu is a Japanese josei manga, so we got one, series written and illustrated by Yuki Suetsugu, and the manga centers around a karuta club and the main character Chihaya attempting to become the best karuta player in the world. And I've heard it described as like it's like a match game, but the competitive ones, they don't have the pictures on them. They just have the last bit of the poem. And so the reader reads the beginning of the poem and you're supposed to get it right away. And they like slap the cards. And it's described as part martial art in like a way too. So it just gets to me. But this is a game that is commonly played in elementary and junior high schools. And one of my exchange students gave this game to my family and me as a gift. And we tried to play it. But it does require that you are A, familiar with Japanese, and B, with the poems as well. So it...
Well, yeah.
I
it's
don't
like
know.
flashcards for Japanese poetry.
So, I mean, it's probably a really fun game once you get more familiar. But like, you know, we tried playing it and it was like, I don't know. So.
Right, yeah. So my question is, does Waka Flocka Flame get paid off of this, or
what?
I don't know. Is that what his name comes from? Is he into Japanese poetry or something?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Oh, waka is a type of poem.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that actually. Yeah.
What about Flockavelli?
What?
Don't worry about it.
I have no idea.
Don't worry about it.
But I did want to mention that in this episode, Hotaru and Chibi play concentration. Concentration is also known as memory or shinkei sujaku in Japanese, meaning nervous breakdown.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's a matching game. It's memory. It's basically a card game where all the cards are laid face down, and each turn you get to lift up 2 cards. And if you make a pair,
right,
that's your pair. That's what they're playing.
It was a nervous breakdown.
I don't know. What a terrible name for this game, but and of course, probably one of the most popular card games around the world is Pokemon trading card game, or Pokemon Kado Gameu.
Yeah.
And it's, do I need to explain this? It's a collectible card game based on the Pokemon franchise. And it was first published in October 1996 by Media Factory in Japan. In the US, it was first published by Wizards of the Coast. In June 2003, Nintendo transferred the publishing rights from both Media Factory and Wizards of the Coast to Pokemon Company. So it's its own company now. As of March 2022, the game has sold over 43.2 billion cards worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them at my local comic shop.
Yeah. It's huge. It's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's an abstract strategy-based card game.
You're gonna explain Pokemon?
Yeah, no, not really.
Everybody knows Pokemon, right?
Yeah, I think everybody knows it.
A lot of people probably know it more from the video games than from the actual card game.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
At this point.
I would say so. I watched this video and they were saying that a lot of the creators of the Pokemon card game, not all of them were, well, I mean, yeah.
Incredibly rich.
By now, yeah. But they were lovers of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, of course they were.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Magic didn't invent CCGs, but it was certainly the first breakout one.
This was considered the first trading card game in Japan. Pokemon was.
Oh, they don't like Magic?
Magic came over to Japan. Like, it wasn't translated into Japanese until after Pokemon came out.
Yeah, yeah.
So they like Magic now.
Yeah.
But it took a little while for it to
Magic's
break ground.
still going now.
Yeah.
I was a very early adopter of Magic. I, played it when it first came out, when it was only for nerds. Now, cool guys can play it.
Yeah. And gals.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to play it a lot and could never afford the cards. So didn't tournament a lot because you just get destroyed by other people. But the fun thing about Magic is that, and I played I've never played Pokemon card games. I don't know how it works, but Magic can be played a lot of different ways. Nominally you play it against another person in a tournament setting, and the limit is 40 cards. You don't want a lot of cards because you want good cards. You want to be able to get to them fast, and so I think 40 cards is like the bottom limit. But we used to just put all the cards we wanted in there, so your deck is like a Dagwood sandwich.
Oh my gosh.
And we used to play, around the circles. We play
Sure.
like 4, 5, 6 people in a game, which is just completely ridiculous and untenable, but it's fun. It was never
Sure.
competitive.
Sure.
And then I went to a tournament once and I got my ass handed to me.
Oh no!
And I was like, oh, okay. That's so.
Really?
Yeah, I play for fun, so this isn't working.
Okay.
Then later I got into the Star Wars collectible card game.
Yes.
Ladies, calm down. and I was pretty good at that.
Okay.
Won a couple tournaments of that.
That's awesome.
Isn't it?
I think it's cool. Did you win like money? Like what did you win? Like what were the prizes? Or was it just like
It's always like, more packs basically.
Okay.
So
Well, that's money in a way because it gives you more stuff to use to win.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I had the magic touch too. I had the force.
Oh my god.
Well, it was
Oh my
a friend
God.
of mine got me into it because I used to play with his cards, and I was telling him like, oh, I used to play Magic, and he's like, this is like Magic, you should play it. Do you have a lot of money lying around? Perfect. Throw it away on these cards. So I used to go in and like not, I could afford like 2 packs or something like that, but I used to sort of like get the dowsing rod out.
You were
like,
good at
this one.
finding
And he's
good
like,
cards.
open it right now. Limited edition Darth Vader. And he's like, God damn it, he does it every time.
Really?
So then he tried to have me pick his packs. Never anything.
It didn't work?
No, it only worked
It
for
only
me.
worked for you? Oh, that sucks. I feel bad for him.
He got me into it.
Yeah, that's true.
His fault.
That's true. Well, I would be remiss if I did not also mention the Sailor Moon collectible card game, which is an out-of-print collectible card game set in the fictional world of Sailor Moon, obviously. And the game is based on the English version of the anime and was released in July of 2000 by Dart Flip Cards. And it's pretty similar, I think, in some mechanics to Pokemon. The Sailor Moon, it pits teams of sailor soldiers, referred to as scouts, of course, against opposing monsters and villains. And each player has both one or more scout and then a collection of enemies. So basically, your scouts are fighting the other person's enemies and like vice versa.
Okay.
And victory is achieved by either eliminating all of the opponent's scouts or by defeating a certain number of victory points worth of monsters and villains.
Okay.
I bought 1 pack because I was just like, what is this? I was curious, but I didn't get like super into it, but I have to say that my favorite one is it's got Sammy Tsukino, so Shingo, on it, and it's called Annoyance, and it says select one opponent person as a target. 2 wins indicate that Sammy has pestered the target so much that he or she moves to the discard pile. Sammy can only be used once each turn.
Sammy can be countered by creepy doll card.
Yeah, I know. Ichidakimasu Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? Mehmet reminds Dr. Giggles that it's almost tea time, and apparently it's his turn to bring snacks. So I don't know if it's for him and the witch is for, I'm guessing. So he leaves to do some shopping, and the Senshi are having tea while they're studying. And then, of course, Dr. Giggles comes back with his snacks and proceeds to eat them while he's waiting for them to save Hotaru.
Yeah.
He appears to be drinking some green tea and eating some potato chips, and there's loads of other snacks. I just have no idea what they are.
Yeah.
I think he just went to the Konbini and just picked up some snacks.
Yeah.
I
I mean, what he's gonna go to like a nice bakery or something like that?
No, it's his time for
Well, he's the
tea.
boss.
Yeah, I know. So just do whatever. It's fine. Feel engaged. We rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The daemon in this episode is named Ikasiman, and her name comes from Ikasama, which means fraud, trickery, or counterfeit.
Ah.
Yes, so that fits her perfectly.
Like Japanese, the sting.
Yep.
Fun fact: all Japanese rock stars have a little sting in them, don't they? The police have to. I know the police did Budokan. They must be big.
Oh, they must have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all doing the spiky hair, and they're like.
What weren't they like? They were like running around Japan, and they were on like the subways, and there like a video of that? Am I making this up? I swear there's a video of police like running around Japan.
So lonely. You tested a police fan, and the police fan came through. The video for So Lonely.
Okay.
They got the walkie-talkies. They're on the Japanese subway.
Yes, on
a
the
Japanese subway, by the way, which is not packed. They must have shot this at 2 a.m. or something like that. It is not packed solid.
No, it's not, and it's weird. It's very eerie.
A lot of the police's videos are just them jumping up and down in a public place. Remember, this is very.
Don't tell their secrets.
This is very early. There was no Hype Williams. Hype Williams was, a gleam in his daddy's eye back then.
Sure.
So it's like there are no like a lot of big concepts for videos. The best you get is like Billy Idol's like gonna stand in a ring of fire while ladies smack their butts as the percussion to his song. And so the police were just like, what if the three of us just effed around and barely tolerated each other because they all hated each other. But actually only two of them hated each other, but whatever.
Well, you can't tell in the video, so I guess that's a good thing.
They're having fun.
Yes.
They're having fun. The only police I like.
That could be a t-shirt. Aw, what's their symbol? And then like the only police I like. They have to have some sort of symbol, right?
Yeah. Don't get pulled over when you're wearing that.
Okay,
but,
all right.
Yeah.
Anyways, so her design, she is made up to look like the Queen of Spades, but she throws off her cloak, which is very ornately decorated in gold, red, black, and white with a blue brooch. She has white skin, long green hair that looks like it's carved out of wood, like a playing card. A gold tiara, large bunny ears, a large red bow tie, a red leotard with a large dice for her abdomen and back, underneath which is the white tapered skirt like the bottom of a chess piece, I'm thinking.
Yeah, she's been put together from everything that's in a game box or a toy box or something.
Yeah, her gloves or sleeves look like the black queen chess pieces, and she's wearing blue bell bottoms with a white trim and red high heels. She also has blue eyeshadow, yellow eyes, red lipstick, and black spade earrings, as well as very thick black eyebrows.
Are the ears like? Is that like a Playboy thing?
I think it's Playboy Bunny.
Or like a hostess type thing?
Playboy Bunnies served drinks in casinos.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is. But I had to think about that for like a really long time. I was like, what? Because also on the white, she has a little white tail poking out of her skirt part too.
Oh, there you go.
So that's what it is. I like a couple of things that she says. She says, I'm the strange daemon that lives in this strange room.
I know.
And she says it strangely.
Oh, hello, I'm the strange daemon that lives in this strange room.
And it's like,
welcome.
I know. And
Yeah.
I love it. And violence is not the answer. I'm the villain who loves peace. I don't know. I love it.
Why does she live in the room? Why does she say that?
I don't know.
And this isn't even like a weird, like, dub or something like that.
No.
But, she just lives in this room. Dude, none of the other demons talk about living anywhere. She lives in this room.
Well, so she also...
Well, actually, let's just roll the whole thing back.
Yeah.
What happened? Like, you put too many things in the evil microwave and it rips a hole in space and time?
Yes. Apparently, you can put one thing, maybe two.
So is the evil microwave a device that like warps space or something? What is it doing?
Great question.
It's like we always thought that it was sort of like injecting the egg into these things, but clearly it's like folding space or something like that, and like merging the object with the egg, and the egg hatches theoretically, or at least imbues the object with power. But like now that you just put like put all of Parker Brothers in this thing, and it was like that movie Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. I think it's a very sophisticated machinery, and it's very delicate, and or maybe it's just very simple, and like you just overload it if you stuff it to the. I mean, it's also very full. Like it's like physically full. Although I don't feel like that's really been a problem before because he's put large objects in it before.
Well, they put part of a door in it one time.
That's true. He had to saw it down.
Had to saw it down.
Yeah. So I think it's just it's a really weird episode, and she's a really weird daemon, but I love her. And I also want to mention that she it's unclear whether she's really working with Mehmet or not, because Mehmet is not here this entire time.
No.
She just shows up in here.
Yeah.
So unlike the other daemon, she's not called forth. You know, she's kind of doing her own thing.
Her own thing.
Yeah.
So whatever, I mean, how do you create a consciousness, you know, or whatever from nothing? But like, so whatever it is that they're, whatever aspect they have, however they receive instructions or whatever.
Right.
She has just like gained sentience and
Yes.
finds herself in a giant room and, oh, my arms are chess pieces. I live here and I love playing games. But the best part of that is she's not good at games. I think that she is just trying to find her way in this world. And she has decided, oh, I must be a game person. And so now she's playing the games, but she's not good at the games.
No, she's good at cheating at the games.
Yeah.
Is that a game?
Yeah, how does she do that? Does she just control every aspect of the world or something
I kind of feel like she does, you know?
Why does the chessboard explode or whatever?
Yeah, because she wants it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, now we're up to our rating. I think that her design is a little much, but considering that Mehmet threw many things into the daemon oven, maybe that's appropriate. And I think that it actually is. I think I like that she cheats at the games and encases the girls in playing cards. I think that's terrifying. I like that she is able to manipulate the games seemingly at her will. I like that she thinks she's going to pull one over on Hotaru and Chibiusa just because they're kids, but they end up fooling her. And she will do whatever it takes to win, no matter what. She's very evil and very bizarre. I think she's fantastic, and I'm going to give her 5 out of 5 dark stars.
Oh, great. I will also give her, now reluctantly, 5 out of 5 stars.
Oh, wow. So you're reluctant if we're the same. Okay. I see how this is.
I'm doing it because it's time for a 5. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve a 5. I think that she does. For all the reasons that we said, for the fact that she is different. Maybe if we came off a run of 5s or a run of very strong Yoma, it would be different. But things, look at the numbers. I feel like things have been kind of samey recently.
They have.
And the fact that she comes in as a breath of fresh air, we're throwing something in here that's a little different, although we've established, this has already appeared in, the Seventh Seal, I guess, but also in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And I feel like, I don't know if they do this still, but sitcoms, soap operas in the 80s, I feel like would have a scene where you're trapped in Arcade's murder world or something like that.
I can see that.
They had like evil twins and I don't know, witches and talking ventriloquist dummies. And then sometimes they get trapped in let's use the soundstage and it's all black. And then there's people dressed in playing cards or something like that. The original Harley Quinn was played by Arlene Sorkin, who played a clownish character in I think a dream sequence in Days of Our Lives or something like that. And Tim,
of course,
Bruce Timm saw that and was like,
aha,
I guess her boobs are small enough and her butt was big enough that he was like, oh, there's something to this. And so later on when they created the character Harley Quinn, they're like, it was based on that. And then they was like, get Arlene Sorkin to do the voice. And they did.
That's great.
So yeah, I'm all for the soap opera dream sequence. And this kind of reminds me of that a little bit. So I'm feeling good. Gonna give her a 5. She's not good at her games. Maybe she should get a point off for effectiveness. But I like the fact that she is also, and I always rate Yoma high when they're like this. She is a victim of her own circumstances.
Yeah.
I like the fact that she thinks that she's really good at games and she's not good at games. she's got to get the job. She's going to cheat because she has to get the job done.
Right.
But clearly she just woke up and went, oh, I guess I play games.
I must be good at this.
Yes. Yeah. I love it.
My arms are queen chess pieces. So clearly I'm good at this.
I must be.
Farewell, My Lovely, where we rate the way they go out. She looks horrified and horrifying as her face contorts and she yells, I'm against violence! The heart smashes into her and we get a love lovely as she bends backwards and clasps her arms over her chest and she turns back into the pile of games and books on games. I feel like she had some style at the beginning there, but like the hands clasped over the chest, we're seeing that a lot. So I'm going to give this one a 3.
Huh. I want to give it a 4.
Okay.
I like the fact that she maintains her pacifism until the end. And I guess that we've seen the hands before. I can't think of when, but I don't know. I just thought that was a good kind of pose. And then her her floppy ears are going out. And it just worked for me for some reason. So yeah, I'm gonna boost it up to a 4.
Okay, that works too. And now we are up to our rating. I like how Dr. Giggle's face is enshrined in shadow at his door until he hears the Senshi approach, and then he makes his face look as normal as possible, or it just looks normal when it's in the sunlight. I don't know which it is.
We don't know.
But I love it. I love how Sailor Moon says to Dr. Giggles, if you don't know us, we'll punish you. And Ray gets mad at her and the rest of the Senshi are super embarrassed. I love that Sailor Moon has not really thought her plan through, that this is still someone's house, so you can't really electrocute it or set it on fire to get in.
History teaches her this is the way to get in, right?
That's true.
I don't blame her at all.
That is true. That is how you get into a locked building.
Yeah.
We know this.
We just have the burly girl blow it up.
I know. I like that Dr. Giggles is only really concerned that they might have figured out his identity. He doesn't question how they know what is going on with Hotaru or that there are 2 cats left outside his house with him. He doesn't question it at all. He's just like, I'm going to eat my snacks.
A lion comes out of a desk in this episode. We
know.
don't have time for everything.
I know. I just think it's great. I love the daemon, and she's very strange, and she cheats. I just think she's fabulous. I like that Chibiusa saves the day by turning into Chibi Sailor Moon and using Pink Sugar Heart Attack. I love all of these things, but I still don't feel like it's totally like a super strong episode and moves the story forward enough. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 roses.
Good. That means my 4 is higher.
There you go.
I was toying with a 5.
Okay.
But the more I thought about it, the more I thought I like everything that this episode is doing. I like how it is kind of off the beaten path. Mm-hmm. It's introducing a bunch of weird stuff that, let's face it, is not going to come back.
Yeah.
Or maybe it will. Maybe when they finally storm the Tomoe household, its dimension hopping Doctor Strange properties will come into play. I don't know. I don't feel like they will. And it's not, we're not going to Club Silencio. We're not, doing the usual thing with the walkout with the Yoma box and everything. But it had a bunch of stuff that I saw as being like ripe for comedy or ripe for doing something with. And they kind of let it slide because there's a lot of other stuff going on. Yeah. But, they had this thing where they go into the desert or whatever, and they got the cliff and everything, and then they get to the gay room, and, it's they got to keep it on rails. And the eye catch comes very early in the episode. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, whoa, what's going to eat up the rest of the episode? It still takes a while to get to the gay room. And then once they're there, I'm like, oh, this could have been the whole half or the whole episode. Like, how do you play out? Like, you've got, okay, here's our pitch. We've got this Yoma who's the master of games, and they're going to play all these different games. And they kind of blew through all the games really fast.
It did.
So I don't know. All that was weakened it. I did like the fact that Hotaru and Chibi saved the day, and it was all based on, them playing cards in the beginning. And that was a nice little, came full circle, but not a perfect episode, but still a nice, break from what we've seen so far. And very enjoyable. 4 roses.
My English title is Gaming Dimensions. Trusting Heart, Love Wins.
You go into the gaming dimension, which is extreme. Is it still that way? Most gamers now are just sipping herbal tea.
Very 90s,
and,
I feel like.
Farming in a fake world.
Yes.
Right? But
Yes.
I feel like people that market things to gamers are still like, oh, the color green. It's neon purple blue.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like you're eating gushers
Get
and
it in ya.
Doritos, and you're going to
Yeah.
drink some Surge.
You're 43 years old. They should bring back Surge, though. I was thinking about my title and, the fact that, it was the Doctor Strange thing.
Yes.
But not Doctor Strange and Dr. Mom. Not that one. Go back to Doctor Strange's appearance in Spider-Man.
Yes.
Where he fights Spider-Man in a whole nother desert dimension. Very similar to what happens in this.
Yes.
So my title for this episode is Sailor Moon, No Way Hotaru.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it.
Except they didn't use math to win.
But that needs to be on a shirt.
You know,
That's
math.
Good. Yeah, I know.
I like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But you can't beat Doctor Strange with math. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that
he comes
movie
from,
says you
he
can.
moved through dimensions that spit in the face of Euclid.
Yeah.
They make Euclid look like a real weenie.
Who's Euclid? I'm sorry. I have no idea who Euclid is.
I guess you're non-Euclidean then.
I guess I am. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 119. Chinmoku no Messiah Kakesi Unmei no Hoshiboshi in Japanese. The Messiah of Silence Awakens, Stars of Destiny, the English translation, and the English title, Goodness Eclipsed.
It is Boshi Destiny, so Stars of Destiny is Hoshi Boshi.
Hoshiboshi is Stars of Destiny. Stars is Hoshi.
Listen,
yeah.
my son, you have such an important path ahead of you. You were born under the Hoshiboshi. Wait, why are you laughing? Stop laughing. This is important.
Sorry.
All right. Well, follow your Hoshiboshis to our social media on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and join the conversation about Sailor Moon or about any nerdy topic. Tell us what you think. Do you have a favorite Sailor Moon video game? Because I've emulated a couple.
Yeah.
Completely legally. Because that's the only way you can play them now.
Yeah.
And mostly, they're fun, but they're not really, impressive. And they just came out with this new Shredder's Revenge Ninja Turtles game, which is like a throwback to, the Ninja Turtles arcade game from 25 years ago.
Sure.
That property's evergreen, but no Sailor Moon video games. Vent your frustrations with us on social media. We'll see you there.
Because girls don't play video games. That's why.
Do girls like Ninja Turtles?
Course. I'm being facetious. And yeah, girls like Ninja Turtles. Of course they do.
Which, name them all. Name all four turtles. Right now.
Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael.
I thought, what if you were like, Modigliani, Van Gogh, of course.
Of course.
Degas, and Van Eyck.
Yeah, right. Just name some other painters and everything.
Yeah. What if they were what if cave paintings had, what if we knew who made the cave paintings?
What?
So there's you'd be like one of the great artists, like Van Gogh or Picasso.
Okay, I see.
Or Ugg.
Ugg.
Right? And you're just going through the museum, which is a cave. And they're like, here, don't touch, careful. Get the torch a little closer there. Now you'll see Ugug's use of line here is very uncharacteristic for this period. You'll see he's made the buffalo 3 times as large as the people hunting it. This shows the importance of the buffalo in their culture.
The pigmentation has gotten a lot richer.
Have you seen his series on handprints? Do we only ever see the handprints? You're telling me that no caveman ever went,
I find that hard to believe.
check this out, Dick.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right?
Yes.
But you're always like, oh, look at the caves of Lascaux. Oh, that handprint is 20,000 years old, reaching through the past with his dick. There's got to be dicks, right?
I imagine that there are. I would find it hard to believe.
And you think
were.
well, they'd be lower down. So maybe the mud has covered them up. And I'm like, how'd they get that handprint 20 feet up there?
Right.
They were standing on each other's shoulders.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Or they got a big rock or something.
Yeah.
So like, you tell me that like, you can't have just a dick right at eye level, right at mouth level? Come on.
Oh my gosh. Of course you can. Wow. It's so childish, but I'm sure they were childish cavemen who were just
There
like,
had
look
to
at
have
this
been.
dick.
Okoko's very playful in some of his work.
God. Oh my goodness. Well, that's it for our show this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Welcome to the gay room, Sailor Scouts.